outside of ourselves, what's happening, that is either missing the point, or the word that I use frequently in the book is that of, it's rather euphemistic. It's euphemisms, and which gives an impression of sort of a reliable source of information which we operate by. And I take, for instance, the example of South Africa, where we have an existing organization currently governing the local politics of South Africa. And there's a reason why I use that word, governing the local, they are in charge of the local politics. Because South Africa is not really just governed locally. There are influences, and so we influence each other as well. Then there is internal agency as well. We ourselves with our internal authorities, which we often overlook. Because when I read Eric Fromm's book, where he talks about the issue of freedom, it primarily drives us to the point to consider two postulations. You want to be free, then we need to consider free from and free to. So what is it that we want to be free from? And what is it that we want to be free towards? And then think about, what is it then that holds us chained? The external change has been removed. Laws were in place. That was that of slavery and slave trade. They were removed by way of human interaction, discussions, and people raising moral questions and principles, which compelled others, say compelled, rather convinced others, okay, we should go that way. But then why do we still have hostilities? So there are hostilities, perhaps it could be the same hostilities, just rebranded and operating differently in our society. So I thought, then what is it? Not just thought, I looked into what is it central to what keeps the hostilities going. And it is a societal system operating without the consent of even you and me, Tess. When we were born, we weren't given a sheet to say, all right, now, before we cut your umbilical cord, could you just agree to the following terms for living in this environment? This is how we roll here.
Yeah, I think that's so crucial, Conell. Consent, and we're seeing it over and over again. We have not consented, and this is something that we raise at World Council for Health, and when I do talks as well. Consent is crucial, and every aspect of our lives is being dominated by rules and regulations we haven't consented to. And I agree with you. When we're born as a natural being, a bouncing baby that's more connected with the earth and the heavens than than any rules and regulations and government. And certainly if we knew that there were all these rules and regulations, you had to get a mortgage and you had to get a job, and you probably wouldn't want to come in. You'd say, no, I don't consent to that,
I actually jokingly tell on some of the podcasts, I tell people, if I had that capacity as a newborn baby, and I'd look out, because if it was a Catholic birth, and I'd say, oh, hold on a minute, no, get me back in there, I'm not coming out. Sorry, Mum, you're falling pregnant. You have to be pregnant for the rest of your life, but I do not consent to this. Because when we look at even what comes straight out, boom, you've got to get a vitamin K injection. Really? Why?
Suddenly
the mom that gave birth doesn't know. She doesn't know about it. She has not been properly informed, so she couldn't possibly give informed consent. That's just how she rolls. She's in pain. Perhaps she just had a vaginal tear. She has no time to read through these things. Oh, the baby's crying over there. And the nurse has just trained to do all those things, do the injection, and then put the mummy back on there. And when I looked at this, one thing I learned from the Better Way conference that you organized, a theme that came through consistent, and that was news to me. The doctors themselves had not been educated into or about vaccines. I thought, what? That was mind blowing.
Yeah, well, you realize that we live in society. Society now is kind of at the peak or the very trough of corporate control. And you can see they're making this big play to really take control for good. So forever, shall we say, not for good, and obviously we need to stop that. But what's happened through these global public-private partnerships over the decades is that the universities and government and all of these institutions that were to serve the people have become infiltrated and dependent on corporate interests. And this dependency has led to the tail wagging the dog, so to speak. So doctors aren't trained to heal people. They're trained to, follow protocols that have been informed by the corporations.
And it's so true what you say, because and I love the use of the word trained, trained, trained. And that is what, when you read the book, it literally, it's not abstract. You get the point that it is corporate training, ensuring it's like a sausage machine. Make sure that you come out there as a sausage, not just mince that you could stir in the pan. No, it's definitely sausages that will come up there. And in discussion with friends, in order to simplify this, I say you will only get permission and access to participate in that system out there if you give them the answers at the institutions of training that they have taught you. Give any other answers, you will not get that certificate, which is your license to participate. And once you're in there, you get to discover other things, such as what you say. Oh, so mortgage, so that's a new thing? Why didn't they tell me that at school? No, they didn't tell me. I don't know how this works. Oh, okay, I'm flooded with all these offers and things. And, oh, so this is a completely new world. Oh, you need to be money savvy. What is success? Oh, it actually amounts to the accumulation of wealth, and it's money that defines it. So, okay, hang on a minute. I was in church last Sunday and they were talking about all this kindness but if I do that, I'm gonna run out of money. I can't sustain this. And the church wants 10% too. It's mind-boggling. So I addressed that as one of it's the simultaneous operation of two opposing norms. One speak of this, but actually participate in the contradiction. And it's both ways. It's like mixing oil and water. The only way that they appear to mix is if you keep stirring it, Tess. I know from having followed your work that you're evidence-based. So I took some oil and I took some water and put it in there. So it's not just theory. And only as long as I stir, and it's exhausting to keep that up.
Yes, so the corporations help, don't they? They do a bit of stirring themselves, and they make sure that people are constantly upset with one another and hurt and harmed and traumatized. And no better context for this story and to realize this stirring and also the and division caused and so on is in South Africa, because